Hello and welcome to this video on object-oriented programming. I promise to make object-oriented programming as simple to understand as possible for you guys. Okay, so if you're wondering what on earth object-oriented programming is, or if you just don't seem to get the concepts of OOP, or you're just curious about what object-oriented programming is, well, you're in the perfect place. So get ready to dive in. To begin with, object-oriented programming is nothing but a style of programming which uses classes and objects. We'll see what classes and objects are further in the video, but for now, just keep in mind that everything is an object. Some of the languages that support this paradigm are Python, Java, C++, and JavaScript, and of course, there's a lot more. And object-oriented programming deals with 6 important concepts or features. And those are object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. Don't worry at all if you don't know any of that stuff. I'll explain everything in detail. We'll start with classes. Now, a class is just an entity that binds a group of similar entities together. Let's see an example. Let's take an animal class. As you might have guessed, an animal class is a collection of all the animals. So basically, every animal is an object of this animal class. For example, cats, dogs, lions, and tigers. So all of these objects all of these animals are objects of the class animal. Or an animal class is an entity that binds together all these animals into one group called, obviously, animals. Okay, so we saw what classes and objects are. Now let's go on to the next concept, inheritance. Now, let's take our animal class once again. As we know, all animals have certain properties that are applicable to each and every animal. For example, all animals have eyes, legs, and a mouth, right? Yeah. And also, there are some functions like eating and walking, which are common to all animals. Now, if we consider a subclass cat, which obviously includes all the cats, all the properties of the animal class are automatically inherited by the cats class. Plus, they have a few more properties like having fur or whiskers. And all the functions of the animal class are also inherited by the subclass, plus maybe making a meow sound to communicate. Now, if we consider a dog subclass, which obviously includes all the dogs, even that class is going to contain all the properties of the main class, which is animal, plus maybe an extra pair of canines. And along with that, all the functions of the animal class are also included, plus a few more like barking or wagging their tails. So basically, when a class inherits from another class, the child class automatically gets everything from the parent class. Now, let's move on to polymorphism. The word polymorphism is derived from 2 root words, poly meaning many, and morphos meaning forms. Combining that together, we get objects that exhibit multiple forms. Let's get our animal class back now. And let's consider one function of the animal class, which is talking. Maybe communicating. But for our purposes, let's just consider it to be talking. Now, if we consider our derived cat class, well, their way of communicating is by saying meow. I know, I love to make the sound. And if we consider our second derived class, well, dogs bark. A bad attempt at barking. Anyways. So, polymorphism is basically the ability of a function or an element of the class to change according to requirements. I mean, think about it. What if cats started barking all of a sudden? Or even worse, dogs started speaking English? I know, bizarre things to imagine. Anyways, moving on to the next part, abstraction. Seriously, I can give so many examples about abstraction, but yeah, I'm going to only give a few. In simple words, abstraction refers to the concept of displaying only essential information and hiding the unnecessary details. Confused? Well, let me explain. The TV remote, which we always fight over, is a great example to explain abstraction. When you press the volume button, the volume of the TV increases, right? So you know that it works, but you don't know how it works. You don't know what's going on inside the remote to make the volume increase, generally. Another example is when you hit the gas, you know that the car is going to accelerate, but what you don't know is what is going on inside the car that makes it accelerate. And of course, how can I forget the example of your dear iPhones? You know how to do everything on it, but what you don't know is what is going on inside your phone when you do stuff on it. So basically, abstraction just boils down to two things. You just need to know that it works, and you don't really need to know how. Let's move on to the last concept, which is encapsulation. It's also known as data hiding. Encapsulation can be defined as the binding of all the functions and attributes that are related to a specific class together. So again, if we consider our animal class, we would include all the methods or functions that are relatable, like eating, walking, etc., and also attributes like the number of legs or the color of the fur and so on. So that's encapsulation. And yeah, we went over all the 6 concepts of object-oriented programming. I know that's a lot to take in at one time, but since this is a video, you can pause the video whenever you need to and watch the video as many times as you like. I hope you understand and liked the video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.